Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Wish you a happy, healthy start to this lovely little Tuesday morning over here. We got plenty to talk about today. I am on a mission today to make a video that is less than 20 minutes long. And with that said, let's get into it right now, starting off with the Krown chain application. Actually, before we even get into the Krown chain application, let's talk about this for a second. There's a big meme within this market right now. Elon Musk and Tesla selling off 10% of their Bitcoin holdings, or so they say. Anyways, a lot of people are talking about this and reposting an article similar to this, and you'll probably see this yourself if you haven't already. And this is actually not really accurate, at least from what we can tell. Now, Nimbo, our resident financial expert, has actually gone through the document. He's got the documents on his table. He's read them, just like Alex Jones. He's actually figured out that, or at least Nimbo's figured out that. It was not indeed 10%. In fact, this was a wrong estimation. What has been left out from these articles is that Tesla actually bought 1.5 billion of Bitcoin at about $32,000 price per Bitcoin. So a little bit of that has been uncovered, and it's really more like they sold about 50% of their Bitcoin holdings rather than 10%. Still, at the end of the day, what matters more? Actual price action in front of our face, and you could maybe even pin that on the big old pullback, if you will, that we saw over the last week. And how does that change things? Well, let's just go into the Krown chain application and find a little bit more in the minutia here. Anyways, Bitcoin dominance taking another leg down. I believe we are seeing it at the lowest of the lows that we have seen it within the last, really like year, I imagine, maybe even more than that, down below 50% now officially at about 49.64% right now. So altcoins continuing with the rally, and this is very much being led by, or at least cavaliered by, Mr. Ethereum, Mr. Buterin, taking the reins of this market and looking pretty damn good, looking like it does want some upside continuation, and very likely does bring a lot of the altcoin market with it. And I imagine that most altcoin Bitcoin parents are going to have their day in the sun, for this time. On top of that, we do see that the fear and greed index has bounced significantly from yesterday to today, as you would expect, as Bitcoin does put in a $4,000 to $5,000 rally, and it looks like Bitcoin wants a little bit more here too. And what else do we see? We see open interest, which is very revealing right here, and actually a little bit more concerning, at least for myself, has actually come down from yesterday to today. We saw it come down about 500 million, about half a billion basically, from about 9.5 down all the way to about 9 billion base. What does that suggest? That does suggest that this is shorts closing right now rather than longs opening. And that is a little bit concerning for the greater picture, as we have been saying. While I am still looking for Bitcoin to bounce a little bit more to the upside, maybe even significantly more, another few $1,000 is certainly not out of the question here. I am very skeptical of this current rally, as it is within the process of potentially putting in a lower high, completing the overall downtrend on all time frames up to, I believe, a weekly, not including a weekly, however, but that would be the first time that we've actually even had that signature in more than half a year, certainly more than half a year, maybe even more than, maybe even about a year. Anyways, looking at the top 10 best coins, top 10 worst coins, we got Waves. I remember this one from 2017, up about 51%. Holy shit, man, having itself a day. Phantom, another big 2017 one. Harmony, XRP, 28.25. God damn, man. Ripple's going moon mode right there. IOS, Polygon, Engine Coin, Siacoin, Qtum, Hollow. A lot of 2017 actors right there in the winners list today. And it looks like the DeFi sector getting a little bit shitted on over there, getting the shaft of this last 24 hours. Solana, Pancake Swap, Celsius, Cello, and it looks like a bunch of stablecoins right here being the losers. But, realistically, when you only see a few of these guys actually printing a little bit of red and everything else being more or less a stablecoin, they are essentially supposed to be unchanged. We actually can really, we can kind of digress that, or sorry, not digress that, but uninvert that calculation and understand that most altcoins pretty much had at least an unchanged day and probably a decent day. Anyways, I actually just got another message from Nimbo right now. Let's see what he's got. Oh, he actually just sent me over the whole damn SEC filing as proof. Holy shit. Okay, this is rather in depth. I'm going to definitely need a little bit of time to sink into this, but fair enough. Anyways, I'm sure that Nimbo's good to share on that too, if you want to contact him in the Discord, or if you just want to see him on the moderator stash maybe a little bit later. Hopefully we do a live stream, but I can't make any promises right now. As I do plan out the rest of my day, I need to make a few errand runs. Anyways, into the market data tab we go. Let's see what we got going on over here. I want to see what the funny rates are looking like right now. And again, we see Bitcoin essentially creeping up as it does, put in a bit of a local low and, on the higher term timeframes, obviously, and we're going to talk about on the 2-day specifically. But funny rates have really been pretty much unchanged. Even OKX still having a slightly negative rate right there. It's not much, but yesterday we saw a couple exchanges having a negative rate. That is still indicative that Bitcoin does have some more upside here. Could it turn into, a full-on run towards a prior all-time high and continuation on top of that, yes, we'll overlay conditions for that. But at the end of the day, again, I'm going to repeat what I've been saying for the last week or so. As a trader, this is the time, at least for myself, to be more protective, more defensive on any sort of a move below 60,000 bucks. But with that said, again, I do look at this as indicative that Bitcoin does have some more potential upside here in the short and medium term timeframes. Still wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin hit 58,000 bucks, definitely within the realm of possibilities. And that's kind of where I get a little bit more on edge. Now, I should also denote this as well. Open interest has actually had a bit of a change of behavior here too. We've seen our first lower low on open interest for the first time since, well, we can't even track the last time because we only have about 4 or 5 months of data right here, and that has been just straight accumulation the whole goddamn time on this run to the upside. So again, what does it essentially imply? It does imply that a lot of long positions have let their positions go, obviously, and that is a little more concerning for the long term, because if we do have a change of behavior and a more or less long-term uptrend market, well, what would be the change then? Well, at least sideways, perhaps even a little bit of downside as well. Anyways, anything else that we want to check out on over here? No, I think we're good on that. So let's go into the actual charts themselves. We'll start off with our primary charts today, and we spoke about the 2-day yesterday as being a big one on both the on both the morning stream and of course the live stream later in the day. And we actually did confirm that hidden bullish divergence here on closure. So I do like that. And again, that does give me the bias that Bitcoin very likely does test up somewhere around the 10 simple, probably even a little bit above there, around 57,000 bucks. But again, this area is very much fraught with peril, as I've been saying. As let's just pull up a completely fresh chart over here. I'm going to use GDAX for this one, and only the true OGs know even the word fucking GDAX anymore, because they've named it like Coinbase Pro or Coinbase Pleb or whatever the fuck it is nowadays. And yes, looking at this right here, we do have confirmed hidden bullish divergence. I'd certainly consider this the variety of phantom div, as Mark B has so lovingly named it, and that's actually a very accurate name. So it would imply a little bit of short-term and medium-term upside from that region. But again, I am looking at this as a bearish retracement until proven otherwise, not because it's guaranteed, but because I would rather be protective here than not. And just going from top to bottom of this formation, again, taking our high, taking our low, we can see that we got the 618 coming in right around where? Right around about 58,300 actually. So I'm going to mark off this area right here. We got the 0.5 coming in almost in line directly with the 10 simple and yellow 20-month exponential average right there. This is the big area for myself. Now above 58,300, are we out of the woods just yet? Technically no, but I would say once Bitcoin gets above 60,000 bucks and closes, especially a daily above there, I don't think it's time to be bearish anymore. Or at least it's not even that it's time to be bearish, because bearish is implicative of some other things too. Macro, I'm still bullish. I don't think that Bitcoin's actually topped out on the macro schedule just yet. I do think that Bitcoin has new highs very likely this year, probably even might even gun for those 6-digit numbers this year. I mean, I think it's very much possible. Anyways, looking at this right here, I want to mark off the $60,000 region. I want to mark off the 618, and I want to mark off this area right here. So the way that I look at it, again, as a trader, is that as long as Bitcoin is below 60,000 bucks, it is yet again just another lower high. And if it is a lower high, well, we do have a confirmation of a trend reversal, of which we did get our first lower low here for the first time since, again, a very, very long time ago, actually. When was the last time we actually had a lower low on a 2-day? We didn't have anything over here. Did we have anything over here? Okay, we got a high, we got a low. Could you consider this a lower high? You could consider this a lower high. So yes, in this case, that would be September. And that was pretty much the last real pullback before Bitcoin went absolutely fucking moon mode to Mars, really. Not even the fucking moon, just went straight to Mars from about 10,000 bucks to 65,000 bucks, right? About a 550% gainer, a little bit more than that. Anyways, my point is that as we put this back on, if Bitcoin does put in a lower high, then I would be looking for a continuation drive to the downside at the very least. Well, I wouldn't say at the very least, but my next targeted region, as we've been saying, would be about 45,000 bucks to 44,000 bucks, which is going to be right around here and right around here. That's going to be based off the daily range, not the 2-day range, to be fair. But just coming in from this last little low structure right here, that would be my target. If Bitcoin were to put in any sort of a weakness, any sort of a lower high, anywhere in this region within this next week. So again, that does imply that I actually am looking for some more upside here in the short and medium term timeframes, but it does come with its conditions. And of course, if Bitcoin does break above 60,000 bucks, I would be looking for new highs on this run, and it's not going to be like a $69,000 target, although that will be an area of interest to the upside. I would be looking realistically at 80,000 plus, probably somewhere between about 80,000 and 90,000 bucks if that condition were to be met. Obviously, Bitcoin's got a lot of things to do here, and I don't want to get into more long-term analysis on this video, which is supposed to be a little bit on the shorter side. Seeing as I'm already 10 minutes in, I don't know if I'm going to complete that achievement today. But with that in mind, I still do like this setup at least for now. Looking at the 4-hour and below, do we see anything of particular note? I mean, we do see, if we go to our BitMexican chart over here, of which we've been using on the lower term timeframes, we're just kind of caught within this little territory. If you want to call this liquid zone, it's a liquid zone. If you want to call it an order block, you can make that, well, actually no, it's less of an order block, more of a liquid zone right here. Anyways, more importantly, a break above the top side of the short-term liquid zone, which is about 54,100, and I would be looking for Bitcoin to make that next nice move, that next nice trending move here to about 56, just under 56. It looks like would be the next sort of area that I'd be looking for on the short-term timeframes. Again, I don't feel too compelled by the short-term timeframes right now as I check what the fuck was that about. Hey, what's going on over here? Oh, okay, fair enough. Where was my line of thought just going right there? Damn it. Anyways, yes. So I don't, I'm not too compelled by the short-term timeframes right now, but this is how I would play it. Obviously, that would imply a break below this area right here. Very likely does imply another test down to low $52,000 region. But as I've been saying for the last few days, I'm actually in no way, shape, or form short-term, medium-term bearish as long as Bitcoin is above this pivot. We could just say that this is 51,500. That is, Bitcoin breaks that area to the downside, even on an hourly, I think would be applicable in this case. I would be looking for an extension all the way down to this bottom side area right here in the same territory that Bitcoin did put in a low in over the weekend. Very likely another bounce there, but ultimately continuation to the downside. Do I think that that's what's happening right now? No, but of course, conditions need to be set, obviously. We'll go to our secondary charts over here. Let's go to a daily for starters, and Bitcoin once again flirting around with the 55 exponential average. As you can see, we have really faltered amongst this area for the first time again since this rally actually really started on the macro scale back in September, October, as you can see. So if Bitcoin can't get back above it, again, I'd essentially just look for it to play between there and the 20 on this, the 20 simple, that is, on this time frame as well, that being the daily, which guess where that is, 57,000 bucks. Again, same thing within that same zone. That I am rather skeptical about as it is right now. And if we do bring up our momentum oscillators right here, it should be denoted that daily MACD is continuing to loosen the grip on the histogram. So I do like that again for a short-term continuation drive to the upside. Daily reverse SMI, which I'm actually giving another go right now, and I'm actually starting to really like it. So I think I might make this one of my daily drivers over Stokes for a bias on direction for ranging price action. In this case right here, we can see that the histogram is obviously loosening its momentum as well. So I do like that, at least for, at the very least, a short-term pop. And then obviously the DMI minus signal has been completely faded over the last couple of days, coming down now alongside the ADX. And while the DMI plus is nowhere near putting in a signal above the threshold, I would look at this more or less as a bit of a reset from this time frames perspective. So let's go through the 2-day as well and see what this one's looking like. Yeah, basically same thing here. So I do like that. Same thing with the histogram, same thing with the DMI ADX. In fact, that one never really got a full-on signal, and very much for the 3-day, not even getting a signal as well. Now, the 3-day is rather interesting here too, because what I would say is that if Bitcoin does close the 3-day above the 21 exponential average today, that is going to very likely further enhance that upside view of about anywhere between about 57 to 58,000 bucks is realistically where I'm kind of looking towards on this, as it does kind of buoy itself back upon that region. Now, I want to show you something that's just, kind of general market knowledge, something that I think a lot of people probably figured out by now, but is rather interesting nonetheless, and just a little small tip that you can kind of take for yourself. Now, it's on any one of these higher term time frames. So really, this works on any time frame if this very specific scenario that I'm about to overlay happens, of which we have one right here. Anytime that you see an asset trend above its yellow 21 exponential average, doesn't have to be yellow, but mine is yellow. You can choose whatever color you like, by the way. And anytime that you see it trend above that or below it in this, it works both sides for a long period of time. In this case, we certainly have a long period of time. You can see all the way back to October, it's been trending above. The first closure below typically does bounce it, almost always. And this is actually our first closure below. Can we find an example from 2017 rally over here? Yes, certainly we can. Okay, so you can see that all of these drives where Bitcoin was trending above the yellow 21 exponential average on the 3-day specifically. I mean, again, you can use this on any time frame, but I'm just using the 3-day for right now. Those first closures below all actually did get bought back on up, which I do quite like. What the hell is going on over here? God damn, my phone is making all sorts of weird noises. I have to have the sound on today, which I absolutely hate. But overall, I do typically like that sort of interplay, and we're getting our first one over here. So if it does close back above, again, I'd be looking for this rally to extend. As we've already identified, the 2-day already kind of setting that bias with the phantom hidden div right there, like quite literally is hidden at this point. It is really phantom. But overall, that would imply again a few $1,000s to the upside here, about. Or maybe maybe $4,000 to $5,000, and potentially even could continue the upside overall. It's just I'm more skeptical as a trader right now, and this is one of the reasons why a blind fucking monkey is going to make more money than a professional trader in a market like this, when the market is mostly straight up. Because if you do just hit the green button the whole goddamn way through, then well, you basically get to participate in all these rallies right here, and on this rally, while again I do look for this to go up right now, it's between about 58 or it's between about 57 to 50 or 57,000 to $60,000, where I would not play that joining into the long side above $60,000, but that means that not getting $3,000 of that, which fair enough to me. I'm more than happy to chariot off that uncertainty for a more higher quality probabilistic trade in my favor, if that $60,000 target is met and exceeded, more importantly. Anyways, okay, let's go back on over here. Let's go through the short-term time frames. I just want to see if they're all on the same side right now. Okay, so we do see that DMI ADX on the 4 hours completely faded right now. I'd really be looking for whichever one gets dominant next alongside the ADX strengthening, which the ADX is in a posture for a big move here. Anytime that it does come down, especially into like the low single digits below 5, those are quite nice moves. I mean, just look at the last one over here, not bad. And all these moves over here have been at the very least short, good short and medium term moves. And with that in mind, the next one that does get dominant, yes, I would be looking for price action to essentially move in that direction, a few $1,000s. And in this case, again, do I favor the upside? Yes, I do. 4-hour MACD is in a more bullish posture, but histogram is kind of is letting go of some of its momentum. Same thing on reverse the SMI is actually still increasing momentum right here, so very interesting. See what the 3 hour says as well. Same thing, actually increasing, although not on the MACD, and same thing on DMI ADX. So all of these timeframes should start to align with each other, and I imagine that we're going to see it led by the hourly in this case. And guess what? The hourly is showing a DMI plus signal that is in its infancy right here. It's technically going to have its first chance to close above the threshold. I really want to see 2 confirmed closures above that, but again, with the ADX coming in from this level right here and already strengthening, I do look at that as good. And of course, that will lead into the 2, 3, and 4 hour, of which those are all kind of set up right here as I kind of peruse around these different time frames. Looking at the 12 hour, we just got a fresh cross to the upside on 12 hour MACD. I do like that. Same thing with, or actually no, not quite the same thing with SMI just yet, but we can see that is poised for a bit of a cross. And more importantly, we actually would have some, well, actually no, we would not have any divergences right there. Yeah, of course it can't be, because we actually have a downtrend on this time frame. Fair enough. And then same thing on DMI ADX. So I do like how all these time frames are agreeing with each other. And again, it does make me essentially look towards the upside here. All right, we'll quickly go through Ethereum, and then we'll go over, and then maybe we'll brush up on traditional markets for a second. Ethereum still looking really, really good to me. Really phenomenal closure yesterday. In fact, it looks like we have the highest closing price ever on a daily. I'd be looking for this one to continue with the uptrend. This is one of those flying W's, if you will, or just basically a bullish reaccumulation. It's it's a variation of an ascending triangle in a way. If you want to be using the patterns, the good old patterns right there, that old geometry, fun stuff. But looking at this right here, we'll have a natural target. I believe I already marked it off over here at about the 2.618, which is 2850-ish region. And I really, really like this chart. We've been bullish on it for a while, and I do think that it leads the market for a little bit of time here as it does continue to trend. Weekly is powerful as fuck. In fact, the weekly is even more compelling than the daily, which is rather interesting. We do see momentum turning up, of course, on the MACD histogram, and also DMI plus is dominant with the ADX strengthening, and we do see that weekly SMI is actually freshly increasing on the histogram there, to be fair, but not really firing off a signal or anything like that. It's just continuation is what it is. So there's not really much else to say about that. All time frames look all higher term time frames are bullish right now. And if we go over here to our secondary charts, I mean, look, I'm gonna try to come up with a fucking bearish case because you have to. But look, I'm not bearish on this, to put it bluntly. Let's see, 3 days just having a fresh cross up, or not didn't even cross the downside on the TSI, which is rather interesting as well. 3 day RSI back to the bullish control zone, very fucking good. Same thing on weekly RSI. Really like that read right there, and could even turn around on the TSI, which is going to be playing out the same trend line going all the way back from January 2020. January 2020, by the way, was way the fuck back on over here, getting this low, getting this low, getting this low right here, and once again brushing up against it at current price action when it's literally already at all-time highs, especially on closing prices. Look, I'm bullish on this, looking for 2850-ish region, and does it have potential to continue more to the upside over time? Yes, I do think so. An area of interest to the upside from there would be about 3300-ish region. That's going to be a big one, but 2800 and then 3300-ish region, I don't think that 3000 will be anything more than just psychological resistance in this case. And overall, there's really no reason to be bearish on this thing, especially as long as about 2200-ish region. So I do like this. I really favor this chart, and the Bitcoin pairing is not just as good, it's actually even better in my opinion. The reason why I say that is because you're having a fresh breakout out of like a multi-year long consolidation, multi-year long accumulation. And while this thing could, I'm not even saying that it's going to, but it could easily come down to like 4.4 or 4.5 million Satoshis. I'd look at that as a humongous opportunity. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing over the next month or two not just head up to just under 6 million Satoshis, but probably even 8 million plus. This looks really fucking good. To put it bluntly, fresh golden cross on the weekly moving averages here too. I am going to like that a lot. In fact, see what the short-term timeframes look like. Just consolidation at a high level. Yeah, I'm bullish on all timeframes here. It's looking good. Anyways, go check out traditional markets really quickly here, and then we'll wrap it up and hopefully do a live stream later. Nasdaq, what do you know? New all-time motherfucking highs, as we said, was likely yesterday, and I'm still looking for this one to take a stab up towards 14,250 first, short-term resistance, short-term, medium-term resistance, long-term still looking at 15,000 bucks. I don't think that happens like today or tomorrow, but long-term. SPY futures, same shit. This one even more powerful, even more strong, still looking at 4,300 and 4,350. Big areas of interest, the upside right there. I look at this as just lifting off right now. I look at this as more or less another breakout above the 3.618. So it got our highs for the last week in this consolidation right here between the 618 and the 414. Hey, are those fibs at it again? What the fuck is this bullshit? And I'd generally be looking up here over time as major areas of interest. And as Dow Jones looking different, Dow Jones is not as strong as the other ones. Certainly SPY is leading right now, followed by Nasdaq, and followed all of them by Dow Jones. But Dow Jones very likely does fall. We're not gonna, it's very unlikely that we see one of them actually reverse before the other. And realistically, this is just another consolidation at a high level anyways, with the other two already breaking out. Do I think that it follows with it? Yes, I do. So again, all markets within this world are mostly correlated on the whole, at least for what we've seen over the 11 to 12 year history of Bitcoin now. So I do figure that this does bode well for Bitcoin. And does this make me reconsider that Bitcoin might not put in a lower high somewhere over here? Yeah, it's very possible. It's certainly very possible. Yes. But again, I would need to see proof, not promises in this case. I want to see Bitcoin close above 60,000 bucks. Then I'm happy to join the long side and the long party. At least for now, I'm just looking at short-term, medium-term upside with areas of interest again at around 56, 58. And that whole area in between basically, and then 60,000 bucks with Bitcoin looking like it probably wants to even take a leg up from where it's at right now. And again, I would get bearish. Pretty much on all time frames, actually, if Bitcoin breaks back down below about 51.5, but we have a nice little buffer zone between here and there right now. So with that said, I'm going to wrap it up right there. I want to wish you well. I want to wish you the best of the best. I will very likely be on for a live stream later, but I can't promise. And with that said, I salute you, take care, and hopefully see you soon.